Hello students, welcome to this session. Here we are going to solve this NEET test 75. I have just solved this paper and I am there with the analysis of the physics section. So again, it is like the regular paper. We can say it's not very easy but not a tough paper. You can say somewhat easy to medium, what you can call. I have regarded 5 questions as tough, 22 were easy and 18 I have regarded as the medium difficulty one. So some questions require some good concepts, plus some had some calculations also, but that is what is always expected in a NEET paper. So I can say it's a very nice balanced NEET paper, and the scores would be usually that you get in the NEET. So again, for someone who is looking for physics somewhat slightly better than average, it should be 135 plus, and for very good students it should be 165 plus in this particular paper that I recommend. So the first question: the age of the wood if only 1/16 part of the original 14C is present. So 1/16 is present, that clearly indicates that is the 4T half time has passed. So 5580 into 4, that would be approximately, you will have 22320, that is directly you can do, this is 4T half lives. Next, the wavelengths involved in the spectrum of deuterium are slightly different that from the hydrogen spectrum, because the size of the two are different, nuclear forces are different, masses of the nuclei are different, or attraction between the electron and the nucleus is different in the two cases. So what we can say, the charge on the nucleus is still the same, electron is still the same, so attraction is not different. Nuclear forces are different in the two cases, size of the two nuclei are different, or the masses of the two nuclei are different. So here the difference will be the masses. We'll say the masses will be the dependent, because it will depend on the mass of the nuclei also apart from the nuclear charge. So we'll go for option. Now next, after a second, let's say see the question number 3. A bomb of 30 kg at rest explodes into two pieces of 18 and 12 kg. The velocity of 18 kg mass is 6 meter per second. The kinetic energy of the other masses. So what you can go, you can first calculate its speed, or you can directly equate momentum and kinetic energy relation. So let me calculate the speed. Because initially it was at rest, finally the CM will still be at rest. Therefore, that 18 into 6 momentum, that 18 one will get in one direction, the other one will get in other, let's say 12 into V2. So that V2 comes out as 18 into 6 by 12, which comes out as 9 meter per second. So for the second mass, the kinetic energy would be half mv square, that is half into 12 into 9 square. So it is 6 into 81, 81 into 6, 6 ones are 6, 6 8s are 48. So it is 486 joules. So go for option B in this case. Next one. Machine gun fires a bullet of 40 grams with a velocity of 1200. Man holding it can exert a maximum force of 144 Newton on the gun. How many bullets can he fire per second at the most? So let's say if he fires n bullets, we know force exerted would be n mv. So therefore n you can write it as F upon mv. So F is 144, m we have as 40 into 10 to the power minus 3, and the speed is 1200. So 1, 2, 3, this goes. So it is 144 upon 48, which I can make out would be 3. So therefore he can fire at most 3 bullets per second, not more than that. Next, a simple pendulum is oscillating without damping when the displacement is less than maximum. Okay, so neither at mean nor at maximum the acceleration vector is. So when it is neither at mean nor at maximum, both AC and AT will be non-zero. So it won't be like this, it won't be like this, it would be somewhere between this. There will be some component here, there will be some there. So therefore option C is the most appropriate. It is neither along the string nor along the tangent. Next, particle is moving in a circle of radius r with speed v. C is the center of the circle and AB is the diameter. The angular velocity of P about A and C will be in the ratio. Okay, so let's draw a circle first. Let me try it once again with some more proper thing. Let's say this is a circle. Yeah, this is perfect. Now what we have, let's say this is the center C, and let's say this is the diameter AB. Let's say this is a particle B here at somewhere here. So what we have, its velocity will be tangential like this. This is V. So with respect to the line joining from C, it is perpendicular. So directly you can say that omega about C, you all know, is V by R. Now what happens about A? So if I join it with A, I know the velocity is not perpendicular. The component of velocity perpendicular would be V perpendicular. So let's say if this angle is theta, I know this will also be theta because both are equal, and angle between these two lines is theta, so their normal will also be theta. So V perpendicular would be V cos theta, and let's say call it R dash. So what I can write, omega about A would be V cos theta upon that distance R dash. Now what is R dash? Draw perpendicular from here, this will bisect this chord, and this half length you know will be equals to R cos theta. So R dash you can write directly as 2R cos theta, which many of you directly know also. So it is V cos theta divided by 2R cos theta. So that is V by 2R. You can directly say that is omega C by 2. So you have to find omega A by omega C, that comes out as 1:2. So go for option B in this case. Nice question. 6 equal resistances are connected between P, Q and R as shown in figure. Then the resistance will be maximum between. Okay. So we can know, if I calculate between P and Q, this is R and this would be R by 3 and this would be R by 2. So this R will be in parallel with the combo of this. So you will have R between PQ would be R in parallel with R by 3 plus R by 2 would be 5R by 6 upon R plus 5R by 6. So if you solve it, it comes out as 5R by 11. Now R between P and R. So between P and R, this is R by 3 and something will be parallel to it. So that definitely that is going to be less than R by 3. R by 3 is lesser than this. So it cannot be the option. Now R between Q and R, that would be R by 2 in parallel. So R by 2 in parallel with this R plus R by 3 would be 4R by 3 upon R by 2 into 4R by 3. So if you do this, this comes out as 4 upon plus, sorry, and not into, here it is plus. So what you will have, this would be 3 plus 8, 11. So 4 by 11 R. So clearly RPQ is maximum. So go for option A. Next. Galvanometer has a resistance 22.8, measure 1 ampere. How much shunt should be used so that it can measure 20? So for measuring 20, range has to be made 20 times. So the shunt required is G upon N minus 1, you know. So that is 22.8, 20 minus 1 is 19. So it comes out as 1.2 ohms. So go for option C for this particular case. Next. The ratio of the magnetic field at the center of a current carrying coil to its magnetic moment is X. Okay. If the current and radius each of them are made 3 times, the new ratio will become okay. So first let me check B at center. B at center you know is equal to mu naught, and number of turns if we are talking about, we are not talking, so let's say 1 mu naught I by 2R. And what is the magnetic moment? Mu is NIA. So I into A is pi into R square. So if I take the ratio of this B to center to mu, this ratio dependence on R and I have to check. So or let's say write it completely now. What you will have, mu naught, this I and I will get cancelled. It would be 2 pi R cube I am getting. So current is no factor here. So this ratio X is proportional to 1 by R cube. So if radius is made 3 times, it will become 1 by 27. So go for X by 27. Do this now. Next. In an LCR circuit, capacitance is made 1/4 when in resonance. What should be the change in inductance so that the circuit remains in resonance? So to remain in resonance, XL should remain XC. So now if you have made capacitance 1/4, XC will become 4 times. So XL should also become 4 times. So therefore L should become 4 times. So L should become 4 times for that. So go for option A. Easy one for you. Next. If each capacitor has capacitance C, then equivalent capacitance between A and B. Okay, look at this. A and B. So if this is A, I can say this is also A, this is A, this is A, this is A, this is A, because there is nothing, so wire will have same potential A and A. So this is what we are getting now. So now look at the figure now. So what you will have now, so what are between A and B, now you have to redraw these whole things. So if you have to redraw these whole things, what you will have, let's say call it 0.1, let's say call it 2, call it 3, call it 4. So let me redraw between A and B. So between A and B, and what we will have, we have all sorts of thing in the life. What we will have, we'll have this one, we'll have this 2, we'll have this, we have to draw something like very special. It would be, let me draw, oh don't draw like this, let me start by 1. Let's say this is between A and 1. So this is A and 1, that is C, and then 1 and again 1 and A, so that would be again C, or not resistor, sorry, we are drawing capacitor, sorry. This is 1, this is again 1, these are 2. Okay, now with 2 if I had to draw, this is A and 2, and this is covered, and this is also between A and 2, like this. Then what you have 1 and B here, so this is 1 and B here, C only 1, 2 and B here, it would be C. Now next what you have, let's say about 3, again you have similar structure with 3, these are the 2 ones, and again this 3 point will have this C with it. So and similarly with the fourth one, 1 and you have 2 and then you have 1. So you have 4 identical branches in parallel, you can say. So let's start with the first one. This C and C is 2C and this is C, so this is 2C by 3, and such 4 branches are there, so you can directly go for 8C by 3. So just simplify, you will directly get this answer, 8C by 3. It's a nice one. Next, a uniform electric field pointing in the positive x direction exists in a region. Let A be the origin, B be the point on x-axis at +1, C be the point on y at +1, then the potential at ABC is. So because field is only along plus x-axis, that is given. So if I take this coordinate axis like this is x-axis and this is y-axis. So this is your point A, this is your point B, and this is your point C. So because AC is perpendicular to this, A and C are at the same potential, and when we go in the direction of field, potential will decrease. So VA is equal to VC, and that is going to be greater than VB. So what you have now, VA less than VB, wrong, VA greater than VB, right, VA less than VC, VA greater than VC, wrong. So option B is only one. Next, 13th one. The semi-major axis of the orbit of Saturn is approximately 9 times that of Earth. The time period of Saturn is approximately, what we say, t square is proportional to r cube or a cube, you can write for semi-major axis. So if it is becoming 9 times t proportional to a ki power 3 by 2, so that is 9 to the power 3 by 2, that is 27 times. So it would be 27 years. You can directly go for option B. I think this is again a repeated one from previous test. You have a spring balance and a beam balance used to weigh the same object at a place on the equator and a place on the pole. Then, okay, readings of A and B will be different at both the places. Readings of A will be different, but those of B will be same at both the places. Readings of A will be same, but those of B will be different at both the places. So what happens? In the beam balance, you measure two weights. So if the G factor change, both changes by same, so the length remains the same or the balancing remains the same. So reading of B will be same at both the places. So it is wrong. B different, wrong. So we are left with B and D. Now for the spring balance, you know, that is the stretch in the spring that is equal to the weight, and weight has changed. So the reading of A will change. So D is rejected. So only B option is correct. The spring balance reading will change, but the beam balance, because it measures the two different weights, torques, both will change by the same factor, so the value remains the same. Next, when an ideal diatomic gas is heated at constant pressure, the fraction of the heat energy supplied which increases the energy, you directly know delta U upon QP, that is being asked. Delta U is always NCV delta T, that is NCP delta T. For isobaric process, that is CV by CP, you can call it 1 by gamma, and for a dia, gamma is 7 by 5, so it would be 5 by 7. So go for option D, that's an easy one, you must have done such. Next, certain amount of an ideal gas is contained in a closed vessel. Vessel is moving with constant velocity V, the molar mass is m. The rise in temperature of the gas when the vessel is suddenly stopped. So what happens here? When the whole thing is moving with V, this is ordered motion, and ordered kinetic energy is not included in kinetic energy. So this energy, half total moles into Mn, that is the total mass, let's say mole be N and the molar mass is M, into V square. That is the ordered kinetic energy, which is not part of the kinetic energy. When it stops, this ordered kinetic energy goes in heat, and because it is in, we will assume it is a insulated one, it should be written. So this Q will be absorbed by the gas, and it's an isobaric process, so Q is equal to delta U. So half MnV square would be equal to NCV delta T. So this N and N get cancelled. Delta T would be equals to what we have, mv square upon 2 CV, and CV is r upon gamma minus 1. So it is gamma minus 1 upon 2 r. So going by the options, you can directly go for option B in this particular case. It's a very standard question. You all must have done such in your practices. An ideal gas heat engine is operating between 227, 127. It absorbs 10 to the power 4 joule of heat at higher temperature. Amount of heat converted into work. So taking it as an Carnot engine, so what we can say, efficiency is W upon QH, which is 1 minus TC by TH. So W upon 10 to the power 4 is 1 minus TC. 127 means 300, not 300, sorry, that means 400. 127 means 400 and 227 means 500, so it is 1 by 5. So W would be 1 by 5 into 10 to the power 4, that is 2 into 10 to the power 3 joules, or you can say it is 2000 joules. That is option A is correct. Next, a coil in the shape of an equilateral triangle of side L is suspended between two pole pieces of a permanent magnet such that the field is in the plane of the coil. Okay, that means torque is maximum if due to the current the torque tau x at side L of the triangle is. So because it is in the plane, so angle with the M is you can say 90 degrees, so tau would be equal to mu b. Mu, what you say, is NIA, that is I into A root 3 L square by 4 is the area of the triangle, equilateral triangle, you all remember. So I into root 3 L square by 4 and B is B, this is tau. So the value of L comes out as 4 tau upon root 3 IB to the power 1 by 2. So going by this would be 2 tau upon root 3 IB to the power 1 by 2. So going by this, we are left with option A, that is going to be the correct one. Next, the magnetic field B due to a current carrying circular loop of radius 12 cm at center is this. So at a point on axis, a distance of 5 from the center would be. So first of all, what is the B at center? And we have did in some example above, mu naught I by 2r. Now B at an axis, you know, is mu naught I r square upon 2 r square plus x square to the power 3 by 2. So if I take this ratio B at axis to B at center, so that ratio will come out as what we will have, this would be r cube upon r square plus x square to the power 3 by 2, which in case is 12 cube, and this will be 12 square plus 5 square, you all know, is 13 square, so that will become 13 cube. So it is 12 cube by 13 cube. So B at axis would be 12 by 13 cube into 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 4. So it would be lesser than 0.5 for sure. So it would be lesser than 0.5 for sure. So this cannot be the option, and this cannot be the option. Now out of 3.9 and 2.1, let's try. So 12 by 13, so it is what we can say 0.9117 and then 330, so it would be 0.92 I can suppose. So 0.92 cube into 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 4. You know 9 cube is 729. 729 or it even, yes, 729. So 729 or 700 into 0.5, it would be 3 point something. So I'll go for 3.9 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. So go for option A in this case. Next, the magnetic moment of electron due to orbital motion is proportional to. So just remember, due to orbital motion, what we will be talking about, the magnetic moment. So magnetic moment, generally what you write it as directly mu by L, you always write it as Q by 2m, that is E by 2m. So mu would be equals to gyromagnetic ratio, you call it E by 2m into L, and what we have L is NH by 2 pi, going by that Bohr model if I talk about. So mu would be proportional to N, so go for option D. So go for option D in this particular case. Okay. Next, two trains A and B of length 400 meter each are moving on a two parallel tracks with speed of 72 kmph. 72 kmph I can write as 20 meter per second in the same direction with ahead of B, with A ahead of B. I think there's a printing mistake, I suppose. The driver of B decides to overtake A and accelerates by 1 meter per second square. If after 50 seconds the guard of B just brushes past the driver of A, what was the original distance between them? I think this is a question of NCERT or somewhere, the same question we generally teach to our students. So where what we have, there's a gap of what was the gap here? B was ahead. Okay, original gap you have to find between them. Between them means, it means the guard of B and the driver of A. So let's say B was behind, this is B and this is A. So we have to talk of this. This is the driver of A and this is the guard of B. So let's say this distance be x initially. So I take in frame of the driver of A. In frame of driver of A, if I talk about initial speed of B with respect to A, or guard you can say with respect to driver, is 0. Now displacement of B with respect to A would be equal to x, acceleration of b with respect to a is 1 meter per second square and the time taken is 50 seconds. So apply the second equation. You have x is equal to 0 plus half into 1 into 50 square. It directly comes out as 1250 meters. So this between them terms confuses. It is not the gap between the two trains, it is basically the gap between the front end of the first train and the back end of the second train, because you know the driver is generally in the front and guard is at the back of the train. A boy playing on the roof of a 10-meter high building throws a ball with a speed of 10 at an angle of 30 with the horizontal. The speed of the ball in the same horizontal plane of the point of the throw is, okay, so it is on the roof, it throws a ball like this. So the distance of the ball in the same horizontal plane of the point of the throw is, so you have to just find this distance. So this is basically treat it as ground level and apply the formula of the range, which you all know is u square sine 2 theta by g. So just apply. This is 10 into 10 100, sine 60 is root 3 by 2 upon g is 10, so it is 5 root 3. 5 root 3, that is 5 into 1.732, it would be 8.66 meter. Go for it. Next, you have 3 blocks of masses m1, m2, m3 connected to a massless string on a frictionless table as shown in the figure. They are pulled with a force of 40. If m1 is 10, m2 is 6, m3 is 4, the tension T2 will be. So first of all, because it is frictionless, I am assuming it is given. So treating them as a system, the acceleration of the complete system would be, this internal forces won't decide, it would be 40 upon total mass is 20, that is 2 meter per second square. Now for T2, treat 2 as the system. So m2 plus m3 as a system, if you treat, T1 is the internal force, only external force is T2, that would be equal to m2 plus m3 into A, that is 6 plus 4, 10, 10 into 8, 2, that is 20 Newton is going to be T2. So T2 value is going to be 20 Newton for sure, option B. Next, your mass of 1 kg is suspended by a thread. It is lifted up with an acceleration 4.9, lowered with an acceleration 4.9, the ratio of the tension is, when it is lifted up, you know T would be equal to mg plus A, because effective G will become G plus A here, and in the second case the T2 will become mg minus A, because it is lowered down, so tension will be reduced. So T1 by T2 would be G plus A, that is G plus G by 2 you can write, and this is G minus G by 2 you can write. This ratio is 3:1. Go for option A, that's an easy one. 4.9 you can make out that G have to be taken 9.8. Next, use the following data: hydrogen atom mass, neutron mass, nitrogen atom mass. Calculate value of the binding energy of the nucleus of the nitrogen atom. Okay, so what is the binding energy of the nitrogen atom? You need to find it out. So the binding energy of the nitrogen atom, basically what we talk about is, it is 7 times protons plus 7 times neutron, or you can you better write not MP, you write 7 protons plus 7 neutrons combined to give this 14N7 nucleus. Okay. Now you are given the data of atomic masses, not the nuclear masses. So whenever we talk about the atomic masses, generally mass defect or the binding energy, you write it as delta m into c square, where delta m in nuclear masses term is mass of the you can say 7 times protonic mass, 7 times neutronic mass minus mass of the nucleus of this 14N7 into c square. But with atomic data, because electrons mass has to be taken out, so approximately it becomes 7 times mass of 1H1 that you do. Instead of proton you write 1H1, 7 times neutronic mass and mass of the neutral atom into c square. So because atom and nucleus there is a difference of the electronic mass, so we do this, and this is the more accepted form because this data is generally tabulated. So what we have, just to do this, 7 into 1.00783, 7 3s are what you have, 21, 7 8s are 56 into 8, 58, 7 7s are 49 and 5, 54 and 0, and it would be 70581 plus neutronic mass. 7 7s are 49, 7 6 are 42 and 4 46, 7 8s are 56 and 4 60, 0 0. Add them and subtract this 14.00307 u into c square. Okay, so what you have, 1 and 9 10, this will become 15, this will become 5, this will become 11, this will become 14.11 minus 14.00307 u into c square. So what you have, subtract it out, this is 3, this is 4, 5 and 3 2, 1 1, okay, 0.11243 u, and c square you write as 931 MeV by 931.5 or 931 you can do, MeV per U, so this would be MeV we will get. So 931 into 0.11, so approximately you are getting it like it would be 110, 20, okay, 104 and 112, so you have to be careful here. So if I do this calculation, let's say 930 into I do 0.11, if I do, let's say for checking, so what we have 93 into 1.1, so 11 3s are 33, 11 9s are 99 and 3 102.3 is slightly greater than this, so it won't be 112, it would be 104 most appropriately. So I go for 104, that would be more beneficial to me. It is not 112, I can make it out. Next, 65 copper turns into 66 copper if it is bombarded with, okay, so if it is bombarded with, so you have 65 copper turning into 66 copper, so you have no change in this number, you have change only in this number, so it would be neutron, that would be the thing, not proton, not electron, so it is going to be neutron, that is going to be the answer. Next, if a simple pendulum oscillates with amplitude 50 mm in time period 2 seconds, the maximum velocity is, you directly know V max you always write as omega A, omega is 2 pi by 2, A is 15 to 10 to the power minus 3, so this is 0.05 into pi, that is what you have, that is 0.05 into 3.14, 5 4s are 20, 5 1s are 5 7, 5 3s are 15, so it's basically come out as 0.157, I can make it out, it is 0.1570, so go for option B. Next, a cylindrical tube which is open at both ends has fundamental frequency n, if one end is closed, fundamental frequency is, if it is open we know F0 would be V by 2L, and if it is closed F0 dash will become V by 4L, so it will become half of the original one, so it will become half of original one, that means it becomes N by 2, so go for option A here. Next, the de Broglie wavelength of an electron accelerated by a potential of 400 volts is, so you all remember this, for electron typically you write it as 12.3 upon root V angstrom, that is what you typically write, so just use it, so it would be 12.3 root 400 would be 20 angstrom, so it is going to be what you can write, this is 0.6 and 0.615 I can write angstrom, or you can say 0.06 nanometer, that is going to be the most appropriate one. Next, for electron you can remember this. Next, in the photoelectric emission process from metal of work function 1.8 eV, kinetic energy of the most energetic is 0.5, the corresponding stopping potential, if Kmax is 0.5 eV, stopping potential is 0.5 volt. Now after 30, go for 31, two mercury drops each of radius small r merge to form a bigger drop, the surface energy of the bigger drop if T is the surface tension is, okay, so when the two merge, what we have, their volume 4 by 3 pi r cube multiplied by 2 would be equal to 4 by 3 pi bigger drop r cube, so bigger drops r will become 2 की power 1 by 3 times r. So what is the surface energy? So surface energy you can write as energy, what you write, because it is a drop you will write it as T into 4 pi r square, so that r square will become 4 pi r square into 2 to the power 2 by 3, that I can write. So what it becomes, I can write 4 as 2 की power 2, so it will become 2 की power 2 plus 2 by 3, that would be 2 की power 8 by 3 into pi r square 2e, so go for option D here. So just a manipulation, not that tough. A U-shaped wire is dipped in a soap solution and removed. The soap thin film formed between the wire and the slider supports a weight. The length of the slider is this. What is the surface tension? So what you know, the film will be on both sides, so the force is 2. If I write surface tension as S, 2SL, that is equal to mg. So what would be S? S would be mg, that is 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 2 upon 2L, that is 0.6. So that is 2, that is 5, that is 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 2 Newton per meter. So I'll go for option D. Consider the shown glass slab having a thin biconvex cavity of air centered at O. Okay. A black spot at P will have image, and mu is 3 by 2, radius of curvature of each surface of cavity is 10 centimeter. So basically I can take imagine as it as a lens, and the focal length I will write it as n of lens is 1 upon medium is 3 by 2 minus 1 into 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2, that is 1 upon 10 minus 1 upon minus 10, I can write in centimeters. So what you will have, this would be 2 by 3 minus 1, that is minus 1 by 3, this will become 1 by 20, so focal length will become minus 60 centimeter. So it basically act as a focal length of what we can say, okay, not 1 by 20, I am doing a mistake here, 1 by 10, 1 by 10, it will become 1 by 5. So that is my mistake, it will become 1 by 5. So it becomes minus 15 centimeter. So negative, that means it will behave like a concave lens. So where it will form the image, now use the formula 1 by v minus 1 by u, which is minus 1 by 5, is equal to 1 upon minus 15. So 1 by v is minus 1 by 15 minus 1 by 5. Take the LCM, this would be 4. So v is minus 15 by 4, that is it would be 3.75. Negative means it is on the left side of O, so go for option D here. So a nice question it was. Ray of light is incident on a surface of glass slab at an angle 45. The lateral shift produced per unit thickness is 1 by root 2. The angle of the refraction produces. So you again know the lateral shift. Again, this is a question I think we have done before. This is T times sine of I minus R upon cos R. That is the formula you remember. Here it is given per unit thickness. So this shift by T is given. That means this 1 by root 3 is sine of I minus R upon cos of R. This is what is given. Now you need to find out the value of this R. So sine of A minus B, you know, that is sin I cos R minus cos I sin R upon cos of R. That is what you have. So if I do this, this will become sin I minus it would be cos I into tan of R. This is 1 by root 3. So 1 by root 3, sin I is 1 by root 2, cos I is also 1 by root 2, take it as common, 1 minus tan R. So 1 minus tan of R is equal to root of 2 by 3. So tan R is equal to 1 minus root of 2 by 3. So as per the option, it is going to be option B. That is what I can make it out from here. Next. A thin horizontal circular disc is rotating about a vertical axis passing through its center. Insect is at rest at a point near the rim. The insect now moves along the diameter of the disc to reach the other end. During the journey of the insect, the angular speed of the disc is. So what we have, this is a disc and insect is at a rest at a point near the rim of the disc. Okay, here. Now it moves along a diameter. So if it moves along a diameter, maybe this one or somewhere else. So as it goes, first of all it approaches near, so the I will decrease, so omega will increase, and at this point when it, let's say it is the minimum distance, or let's say it goes like this, so when it is at the minimum distance, I will be minimum, omega will be maximum, and beyond that when it goes from here, I again increases. So omega first increases, becomes a max, and then decreases. So what we'll have, we will have option C as the most appropriate one. Next. The average value of rotational kinetic energy of 1 mole of oxygen gas. So for oxygen gas, you have 2 degrees of freedom for rotational motion. So it is energy per degree is 1 by 2 RT. So F by 2 RT, we have F is 2. So it would be RT. So it would be due to rotation, it would be RT you can do. Next. In a CE amplifier, beta 60 are not this, internal resistance 500, the voltage amplification you can directly write, that would be beta 60 into R output upon R input, that is 5000 upon 500, that is going to be 600. So it is one of the most easiest one you will get. Next. Current flowing in each of the following circuit A and B respectively are, okay, this is forward bias, this is forward bias, both will be wire, this is reverse bias, this is forward bias. So here this will be in parallel, so it would be 2 ohms, so 8 by 2 ohms, so what we have, this is 4 ampere. Here it will be only 4 ohms, so it would be 2 ampere. So what we'll have, the answer would be 4 ampere and 2 ampere. C, again an easy one, just check which is forward, which is reverse. Brass wire is 2 meter long at 27, is held taut with negligible tension between 2 rigid supports. Now it is cooled to a temperature of minus 33, tension developed in the wire if diameter is 2 mm. Again, this is the question of what we say thermal stress. So directly we will say F, what we write is F would be equals to A y alpha delta T. So area is pi r square, which is 1 mm square, 10 to the power minus 6. Y is what you have, you can write 9.1 into 10 to the power 10. Alpha you have 2 into 10 to the power minus 5, and delta T is 60. So what do you have now? This is 11, 11, 10, so this would be 10 to the power minus 1, so this goes, this goes, this goes, this goes. So it would be 9.1 into 12 pi. So what you have, 9.1 into 12 into pi, pi is what, 3.14. So what we will have, this would be 36 and 36 into 9, so it would be 36 into 9, 320, 330 and something newtons. So it is not kilonewton, it is not this, this would be 0.34 kilonewton is the most appropriate one, that is the closest one you will get. Next, Identify the pair whose dimensions are equal. Torque and work, you know, both are equal because force are force and distance. So we will go for option A. This is a very commonly used pair we generally define. Next. In a system of two polarizer, it is found that the intensity of the light from the second is half from that of the first. That means I2 is I1 by 2, which is equal to I1 cos square theta. So cos square theta is half. That means cos theta is 1 by root 2. That means the angle is 45 degree between the pass axis for sure. So again an easy question of polarization. Next. A two slit YDSE experiment is done with monochromatic light of 6000. These slits are 2 mm apart. Fringes are on 10 cm away on a screen. Transparent thickness 0.5 mm plate is placed. It is found that the interference pattern shifts by 5 mm. What is the refractive index? So you directly remember everything. Shift is mu minus 1 or n minus 1 into t by d. So shift is given as 5 into 10 ki power minus 3. So mu you have to calculate. T is given as what? 0.5 mm. 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. D is what? You have 10 centimeter. And let's say put it in on centimeter also, that would be 0.2. So no need to convert further. So this goes, this goes, this goes. So mu minus 1 is what we get. Mu minus 1 is 0.2. So mu comes out as 1.2. So we'll go for option A in this particular case. Next. Closed pipe, open pipe have their first overtone identical. Again closed and open pipe is there. First overtone of closed pipe is 3V upon 4LC. And that is equal to second means V upon 2V by 2L, that is V by L of open. So their length LC by LO is going to be 3 by 4. Go for option C, none other than C will be the answer. Now the last two, 44th. A progressive wave is this. How far are the 2 points having a phase difference of 90? So how far? So for the distance we have the phase difference as k delta x equals to pi by 2. So delta x would be pi by 2 upon k, and going by the logic, k here is 4. So pi by 2 into 4, that is pi by 8. So it is pi by 8 centimeter you will have. Go for option C. Next. A bead of mass m can slide without friction on a fixed horizontal ring of radius 3r having a center at C. The bead is attached to one of the ends of the spring with constant k. Natural length of the spring is r and other end is fixed at O. If the bead is released from A, then the kinetic energy when it reaches point B. Again this is a repeated question we have done again. Let's do it again. So when it reaches B, it will be natural length. When it is at A, just do this is 4r and this is 3r. You can make out this is 5r. So initial extension, initial delta x of a spring, initial is 4r because that is 5r minus r 4r. So initial energy in a spring is half k into 4r whole square. Finally spring energy will become 0. So the loss in spring energy is gain in kinetic energy, that is half k into 4r whole square would be equal to half mv square. So what do you need to find? Kinetic energy you need to find, that is simply half k into 4r square, that is going to be 8k r square. Directly you can go for it. So this was the today's paper. It is about 12:20. I have finished it right now. So please keep pouring in your comments and please share this channel to maximum aspirants you.